So this is the second video where we're going to be entering things into Excel, and because we're going to be doing this on Thursday and Friday, you can do this now, or you can wait till then, and sort of your choice. But at least this way, you kind of get a sense of where we're going on this. So the our task here is going to be fill in this column. It's the theory column. That is, we're going to predict some values of of the of the concentration of ozone over time. And to do that, I need to go to find in the handout, and it's this one right here. The concentration over time is an initial concentration. I've written it as A, but in this case it's ozone. The initial concentration, over all the times that this reaction is happening. I'm going to set that aside in a separate box. Box here is K1. And I need to put a number in it, so I'm going to put in something like 0.01. And now I'm ready to type in some numbers. Here I have to start off with an equal sign, if you remember from the first video, because this is going to be a formula. It's going to be the initial concentration of the ozone. Well, that was 1e minus 4. To get a multiply, I need to do star. And in Excel, the e function is given by exp open parentheses. And so I've done that, minus, there's the k value, and now times the time, which I'm going to click on that box right here, and there we go. So, and that's my first value. Now, I don't, of course we could, again, just do that all over again as we go down to all these columns, but that's not making as best use of Excel as we can. So what I'm going to do is I want to try to do a fill down, but first what I'm going to show you is a fill down that gives us the wrong answer, and you'll see here in a minute. So I'm just going to fill down one step here, and now I'm going to click on these two boxes, and if you look up here, you'll see what values Excel has tried to guess at what we wanted, and you can see here that's the one that I entered. Initial concentration, e to the minus C14, that's K, times A5, that's the time for that time step, that's good. And now I go to here and I can see, well, it's A6, that's the next time step, that's fine, but look what it did with the C14, it changed the C14 to C15, but there is nothing in C15. So what Excel did is it guessed that I wanted to do a relative increase, the relative addressing, it's called, from C14 to C15, when I didn't want that one. I wanted that to stay put. And the way you do that in Excel, the way you defeat the relative addressing is to do what's called absolute addressing. And to do absolute addressing, you put in dollar signs. So I'm going to put a dollar sign there, and then I'm going to press return. And now when I fill in from here to here, and if you want to look at what it did, it kept A5. Here it moved A5 down to A6 to get to the next time. That's fine, but $C$14 stayed put, and that's just what I wanted because there's K staying at that point. Okay, so if you want to stop and try that out, and go ahead. And then next thing we'll do is I want to fill this one down all the way down. There's there's just another technique I want to show you about. I'm going to go to this lower right hand side, and as long as this column is adjacent to another column, it says, well, I kind of know what to do, and you'll see. So I'm going to double click on that and look at that. It filled it in. Notice here it's going from it's now gone to A7, A8, A9, A7. Okay, so that's good. So we've got our theoretical curve. Next task is I want to graph it on top of this curve here, and so that requires an extra little technique. And what we're going to do is we have to click in this box so that you see this blue outline. And now I need to go to upstairs here to chart, something called source data. And it's coming up with some information about the graph that we already have, which it is just called Series 1. I want to give it a new name since I know that Series 1 is the experiment. All right, but in addition, I want to add another series, and so you see it's come up here, and this is going to be theory, right? And for the x values, I click in this box first, and then I'm going to go out here to the Excel sheet and choose my times. Good. And now I'm going to, for the y values, I'm going to pick up the theoretical values, which are all these. And I think we're good, so I'm going to try that. And you could try that too, and hopefully you'll end up with a graph just like this. So our last task here, well, we have sort of two more tasks. One is I want to adjust k so that it matches up with that experiment, and you can kind of see how that might work. I'm going to say, well, maybe 0.01, maybe that's too big. Maybe I should have done 0.008, perhaps. Oh, that adjusted it up a little bit, not quite as far as I wanted it to be. So that's one thing, is that you're going to be playing with tomorrow and Friday of adjusting K1 so that you get a good match with experiment. But the other piece of it is that once you get close, once I manage to get these red dots close to the blue dots, they lie right on top, and it's hard to see what's going on. So the last little bit of this is I'm going to turn this theoretical curve into a line, and that's kind of typical for us in this course. We like the experimental parts in points and the theoretical parts of a graph in lines. So what I am going to do is double click on that one of those squares, and something comes up, I hope. Yeah, and see, these are all different aspects of that. So I'm going to go to a marker style, and I don't want any marker. You see that it's disappeared, but I do want a line. How about a black line? And there we go. So now we're good to go. So this is what we'll be doing on Thursday and Friday.